got to be kidding me.
Couldn't possibly imagine it'd be somebody we knew.
Her dog came home without her.
This is a case that rocked the community.
An extensive search for a missing teenager.
18-year-old Amanda Stavik suddenly disappeared.
I can't believe something like this could happen to such an innocent person.
My name is Bill Eltho. I'm the sheriff of Whatcom County. I'm the third sheriff to take this case on.
What everyone in this small community had hoped wouldn't happen did happen.
I was a reporter for KOMO TV. It was a huge story.
She would not have just gone off and gone someplace without telling me. Period. She wouldn't. The thought of her mom never having an answer of who did that to her daughter. I wouldn't wish this on even my worst enemy.
It was on everybody's radar. The case was never closed. It was constantly being investigated.
I remember turning on the TV and just seeing an arrest had been made.
Tonight, investigators say they've cracked the case.
And I saw a picture of Mandy. Oh my gosh, is this really what I think it is?
Oh my God.
It was stunning. How could this have happened after so long?
The story of Mandy Stavik is the story of a young woman's disappearance from a tight-knit rural community. It's the story of a family devastated and a whole community devastated. It was a big deal.
I was initially appointed sheriff in 2003. I went out and spoke with Mandy's mother, Mary, and told her that I was going to make every effort that we would solve this case. Mary Stavik is a very sweet woman, but she's a very tough woman. I remember the first time I went out to meet her, she was out splitting wood in her front yard, and she was in her 70s at that time.
I don't think I ever believed, ever, that they would catch the guy.
The Stavik family lived out in Acme, which is a little tiny town down Highway 9 in rural Whatcom County.
Whatcom County is the most northwest county in Washington State. It is quite beautiful.
This is about 15 miles east of Bellingham. Bellingham is the largest city in the county.
It's rural, so it's not a lot out there. You know, open roads and lots of cows.
We have very little crime out in that area, so it was a place where people don't lock their doors, they leave their car keys in the ignition. It's a very tranquil and a very nice community.
My memory of their house is that it's set back from the road quite a bit.
It was like ideal. It was on a dead-end street, a mile from the highway. It was quiet and peaceful. The lots were all between 10 and 25 acres. Absolutely the nicest neighbors anybody could ever have.
You knew your neighbor, you talked to your neighbor. Everybody knew who was coming in, who was leaving. They probably set their clocks by, you know, there goes Mr. Jones, or headed to work, and you know, he should be coming back pretty soon.
Land had been owned by families for generations. People could tell stories about what your grandma did to my grandma years and years and years ago.
When you live in a small town, you don't know everybody, but you know somebody who knows everybody. You just have this feeling that bad things aren't going to happen because people know each other. And that, in most cases, is true.
Everyone that lived out there, even today, knows about Mandy Stavik and what happened to her.
Mandy had just graduated from high school. She was in her first year at Central Washington University.
She came home for Thanksgiving break.
Mandy left her home on the day after Thanksgiving in 1989.
She wanted to get in a run. It was kind of in the late afternoon.
She had a daily route that she used to jog that took her down the road that her house was on Strand Road, down to the Nooksack River and back.
She went with their dog, Kyra, a German Shepherd dog.
It was an older dog, but it was very protective of Mandy.
I normally went with her. I rode my bike, she ran, and the dog panted along after us. But that last morning that she disappeared, I didn't go with her because my sister was there, and so I kicked myself.
The houses along the way, there can't be more than 10 to 12 houses. I mean, there's just not many people.
She turned around and I was running back home, where she was seen by a neighbor as well as her brother Lee.
Lee, my son, he was at the Andersons' house, which is about halfway between my house and Highway 9, down Strand Road, and he was there visiting his friend Jeremy. He remembers seeing her jog by, coming home.
She was maybe a quarter mile from her home. Definitely should have been there before Lee had gotten home.
And when she didn't show up, there was concern.
When she didn't come back, when she should have come back, and then the dog came back without her, I was panicky. First person I called was her boyfriend.
Mary was worried that Mandy was missing, then I got worried.
The dog came home alone after about 2 hours, and they suspected something terrible had happened to her. It was so unusual that people started looking immediately.
As the minutes and hours pass, you can't believe anything other than something bad has happened. And so they called the police.
I called the sheriff and I called everybody else I could think of. And I had everybody I knew out searching for her.
Any kind of missing person call is a 911 call. It requires immediate response. And a deputy will go out and talk to the reporting party. What I remember hearing from them is, this is something we got to move on right away. It's not right.
You can tell that this is not somebody who runs away from home. There's no history, there's no past reports.
I think the anxiety increased and increased.
In any investigation like this, you're going to look at, boyfriends, anybody that they might have had trouble with.
Fingerprints, everything. Questioned by a couple detectives.
Mom called me, she said, Mandy's missing. And it's like, this can't be happening to us again.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.